Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Thick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Thursday morning edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel with you, Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick, as always. I apologize in advance if Joel and myself will look a little raggedy this morning. The two-day Benzinga FinTech Awards are now over. We are both recovering and doing our best to do so, but we had to wake up early and do the show with you, so here we are. On today's show, we have earnings. We have Walmart, JCPenney. We've got some ratings changes to discuss in Coke, CBS. We have earnings from Dillard's also, so we'll get to as many of those as we can. Plus, we'll take your questions from our chat, youtube.com/BenzingaTV and premarket.benzinga.com. Joel, what is doing this morning in the S&Ps?
S&P futures are trading in the red by 5.5 points this morning at 27.1750. Your pre-market high, 27.25 That's just shy of the high that you had. What's today? Thursday. Your high on Tuesday at 27.28. So that could be another target on the upside. On the Dow side, just trading $1.25 off the pre-market low at 27.16. Really, no major support until the pair of lows near 2,700 from Tuesday and Wednesday. Crude continues its march in the $70 handle, up 64 cents at 72.13. Gold in the red, well under 1,300 at 1287.30. Silver bucking that trend, up 5 cents at 16.42. And Bitcoin futures, pretty much flat, up $75 at 83.45. Good morning, Dennis.
Well, give us a summary, Joel. You guys were out there at the Benzinga FinTech Awards. Give us a summary, the highlights there from the last couple of days, what who you met, what you learned. Let's have a quick 3-minute summary of the FinTech Awards.
All right. A lot of interesting stuff over the course of the 2 days. Yesterday, we had some good programming. Yesterday, we had a brokerage panel with the heads of Schwab, Ameritrade, TradeStation, and who was the fourth one that was up there? I'm blanking on right now.
Fidelity.
No, Fidelity wasn't on the brokerage panel. I'm blanking on Interactive Brokers, and those were the four. It was the heads of those four brokerages for the trading teams. They were on there, and they were talking about what the kind of customers that they're going after, what they're doing to get your business, right? Because they all want our business. And
how are they doing that? How are they differentiating themselves from each other to attract, the retail business?
It's kind of funny because, in some sense, they're working together. The Interactive Brokers head, he was very concerned about regulation. So they're all sort of on the same team in that sense, and they're all sort of working together for the good, for the good of the brokerage industry. But that being said, TradeStation has probably a head start in the crypto space because their parent company just bought a crypto exchange. Ameritrade is very well into the social media trading. You can trade via chatbots on Twitter and Facebook if you have an Ameritrade account. Interactive Brokers is kind of they're very obviously well entrenched in the institutional space. That's been their bread and butter always. And Schwab is Schwab, they're everywhere. But it was interesting to see sort of that they're all they don't hate each other, and they're all sort of on the same team, and they're all trying to move the industry forward and figure out the best ways to handle new regulations. And they're all trying to reach people on there. It's all platform agnostic. That's the thing. They all want to be wherever the customer is where they want to be. On your phone, great. Desktop, great. Any other thing that's not maybe your Google Glass, sure. They want to be wherever you are, and they want your experience to be the same no matter where you're trading from. So that's sort of the overall theme, is they all want different or the same experience on different platforms.
I think my biggest takeaway or two takeaways are number one, the big banks are playing catch up. to the whole fintech revolution. And they just kind of woke up and smelled the coffee. And I think that they're waking up it not only from the trading end, but also the banking end. And they, the old boys network of Wall Street, which broke down during the financial crisis between co-party trading. They're waking up and they're really, really trying to play catch up and making innovation. So that was one takeaway that I had. And then the other takeaway is just that, the continued audit, what's the best way to put it? The financials, the markets are so far behind in technology. We've had the changes in the internet over the last 34 years, and the financial markets just really haven't evolved. And they're just trying to play catch up. And I think there's a lot of really smart people there, a lot of great conversations. Really, I don't know, enjoy everybody I talk to.
Yeah, as far as cryptocurrency, I wanted to say real fast, it seems like the consensus was, at our conference at least, was that cryptocurrency is here to stay, but they're more interested in how to use blockchain than they are in how to use Bitcoin or any specific crypto, for example. So the blockchain technology is interesting, not as far as how to integrate that with what they currently have, with what every company with their legacy systems, how do they integrate blockchain into that? It's not so much like an investment, in an ICO or in a cryptocurrency. They don't really care about that. It's all about how do you integrate blockchain technology into your old legacy technology. But yeah, to echo Joe's point, a few years ago, it was all about how fintech was going to destroy the banks and the banks are going to die. And now it's all, a lot of fintech companies are working with the banks now. They're realizing that they can sell their technology to the banks. So that's what's happening.
I mean, the banks don't go away. They figure out a way, and they're not going to stay here and just fall off the cliff. It's kind of like the same thing.
Take it lying down, right?
Yeah, in the automotive industry, it's the same thing too. Like, I mean, you see Tesla taking on electric cars. So it wasn't like Ford and GM were going to sit there. Okay, we're not going to do any electric cars. We're going to stay here and die.
Right.
So it's the same thing. You have to evolve. In any businesses, you have to evolve. And these banks, don't kid yourself. How many employees do you think work at Wells Fargo? Probably 100,000 or something. So maybe more than that, maybe a couple 100,000. There's some smart people working at some of these banks there too, and they figure it out. And and they eventually do get back in the games, and some of the games they've been pushed out of. But fintech is a big part of the future. I'm really glad you guys put on this conference every year. Meeting some of the smartest people in the industry. So great job to Benzinga as always putting that on. I'll have to get out there next year to this.
Yeah, you do, Dennis.
But I'll have to get out there and enjoy the conference as well. So today's trade, let's move on. We've got a lot of stocks here that reported earnings. Some big names, not a lot, but some big names reporting last night and this morning. I'm going to take you first to Take Two last night, TTWO. And here's a stock that I actually bought the bottom on last night, I believe. What was the low, Joel?
The low in TTW.
Unless I didn't see it trade lower, I think I pretty much bought the bottom.
Okay. I am bringing up my
TTWO.
I go. Okay, I got it. And on that bracket, you hit a low 104.60.
No, I didn't buy the low then. I bought 105.
Okay.
And Spencer, give us the numbers through Take Two. It wasn't a great report, and I'll tell you what my mindset was going into this.
Why were they halted it for 25 minutes? That's what
they halted. Sometimes they do. This is one of those. Not a lot of companies that do that anymore, but they halted it ahead of the earnings. So then they did the earnings release. Yeah. They have before too. I think Take Two did that last time too.
Okay.
Well, it's up to the company. I mean, you can always halt, your stock anytime for the company.
Right.
And just it goes a halt code pending news. And the earnings are coming out, but most of the time, 99% of the companies out there don't halt for earnings. But this is one that seems to do it. I think they did it last time too.
Okay.
So the 105,
77 cents versus
I thought 60. I bought the low. What was the numbers?
77 cents versus a 64-cent estimate sales, 450 versus 449 million dollars. So a beat on both those numbers there. Q1 sales guidance coming in line, and the GAAP EPS guidance is coming in line as well.
It wasn't a great report. Like, they didn't blow it away, and that's why it got hit. But it was all Fortnite. So Fortnite is really chewing on Activision Blizzard with the same exact thing. And this is why I came in to Take-Two saying, I said on the show with ATVI that day, it was trading down like $4 on earnings. I'm like, there's an eternal bid under these big three companies. These are your esports companies. And it seems like every time they pull back a little bit, there's just people hungry to buy these things. Those three are ATVI, EA, and Take-Two TTWO, because we know esports, we've talked about it on the show. It's got a big future here. Joel and I are even looking at side adventures there on esports as well. But I mean, you look at these, and the main three that, public ways to play it are these three companies. There's obviously derivative plays you can look at, like NVIDIA's and AMD's and the chip makers, and the other side. But for the most part, you're looking at those gamers, the people who are the companies who are making the games. Fortnite is made by a private company. It really hit a lot of these stocks here for this quarter. But we know a hot game comes out, and there'll be another thing that comes out again. So I just thought, on the Take-Two pullback, it's down $8. I'm like, man, there's probably going to be, a bounce here. So I bought 105. And then, it trades up to like 106. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good. It came all the way back down, starts hitting the 105 hard. And then I'm like, and the 105 is an iceberg bid there, and they're hitting it. And I was like, oh, and it kind of, it opened when it came out of the halt, Joel. I think it opened 105. And you know me, I don't like it to go through the price, but I was scared. I was like, oh man, if that iceberg goes, I'm going to look at like a 102 bid. And this was like a minute or two after the earnings, so it's still really volatile. So I'm like, I'm getting out. It's too much risk here yet. I'm going to come back in once it settles down a little bit. So I sold the 105. And about 30 seconds later, she starts blasting off. Goes 106, 107. I'm kicking myself. So I bought the low, sold the low. And then it starts to come back at 106. I was like, come on. I had my bids down the low at 105s and to try to re-get it. It never came back down. Then it went 108, 109, 110, 111, 112. It went back to scratch. 113 it got over. So about 40 minutes later, it got all the losses back. And I'm looking on thinking, wow. I basically bought the low of that move, and I sold the low of that move. I got shaken out. It happens with trading. You're going to get shaken out sometimes, but I felt pretty silly on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the after hours, like you said, if you miss one level, they don't move in small.
It doesn't move in pennies.
Yeah,
you're looking at 103.
Dollars.
Yeah, if you miss it, the 105 would have went. You're probably looking at 103 because they were hitting it hard right then. But the 105 guy wouldn't move. So the 105 guy just held the fort and made a lot of money because of that.
All right, Todd, let's take a look now. Folks, keep in mind, the stock hit a low of 93.42. This was just on April 3rd. Then you put in a triple top at the 117 handle. So quite a big move ahead of earnings. So it would take a super great extra report, buyback, dividend, even though they probably don't pay a dividend, to make this go higher. Your pre-market low looks could be safe for now. Your pre-market low, as I mentioned, 104.60. If you did get back down in that area today over the next few days, 104.04. That was the low that you had on May 4th. But now, now I don't being that far off the low. I don't think you'll see it. I do see a low just above 110 from May 8th at 109.67. So keep an eye on that.
People want these three stocks. And when they pull back 6-7%, people are just all over it. And, that's what I say, on the pullbacks here on Electronic Arts and Take-Two and ATVI, they just find buyers. So, I think, and I'm going to stick to that theme, that by the summer, not only is the S&P making new all-time highs, these three game makers are making new all-time highs. I'll even give you a date. I'll say like by July 31st, middle of summer, TTWO, EA, and ATVI are all making new highs.
Dennis, man, you're big with the predictions.
Look at these predictions coming out. So I'm sticking with the SPY. What do you think of the SPY here? So I saw my tweet timeline. I don't know who posted it, but they drew a nice little bull flag on the SPY here. And I was like, I can see it. You have you got the little flag forming here now. I mean, it's only a 3-day flag forming here. So it's a little early maybe, but I got a little bull flag going on there on the SPY. I could see it.
I think that high that you had on Tuesday is going to be your bogey, 274.8, which corresponds in the S&P, I believe, to 27.41 and a quarter. So we get above there and clear that, things kind of open up. You're still trying to really recoup the levels. If you go back to March 20th, When we, had one of our declines after the rebound after the February low, you could just see that high sticking out. That was at the 273 area. So you got to get above that, that resistance from Tuesday and hold it. So not really out of the question, but that's my bogey on the upside.
Jump over to the other big stock reporting last night was Cisco. It is still trading in the red, although BTFD seems to be working here again, and BTFD is not coming in here yet on Cisco, but I wouldn't be surprised if the BTFDers do come here on Cisco. 43.40, you got a couple numbers here. Joel, talk to us about the technicals here. It is a pullback. It is breaking trend here because of this, which is somewhat concerning, but I think there's buyers below in Cisco as well.
43.04 is your after hours low, but this might have some more work to do on the downside, Dennis, because you're only trading at 43.35 for the just traded 43.39. So I think, you do have someone either covering some shorts to cover some options positions. You do have a buyer in this level, but if you take that out, you're looking at, you also had a low at 42.75. So I'll say 42.75 could be support for today. After that, things really wide open to the April low. But, when something gets hit hard and then gets a bounce and then just kind of hangs out near that area, I don't know. I don't think the low's in here for Cisco.
We'll go to Walmart in a second. Just Scott C in the chat asking about Square. Man, and I've been watching this stock too, and it's been a wicked rally for like the Microns attacks. I mean, this thing has rallied. Micron seems like it goes up $2 every single day. Square SQ has been on a really good bounce here too. Got down there at 44, and it looks like it's itching to make new highs too. People argue valuation, and they argue valuation on a lot of stocks. And I tell you, valuation doesn't matter until it does matter. And I've said that before. Stocks can just keep going and not even care about valuation at all. Is Square valuation attractive to a value investor? Hell no. But as a momentum trader, as a growth stock, it is attractive. And the masses right now are not interested in the bottom line. They're interested in the top line. If you're growing the top line, they're buying your stock. And Square is growing the top line still. If that growth slows, that's where the thing will get hit. But right now, they're still in the full growth phase on the top line. That's what investors want. And that's why Square continues to remain hot. And I think this is another one that's going to continue to make, and I think it's going to make new all-time highs here very soon. 58.46 is the all-time high there. I think we're going to see $60 on this. Maybe not in the immediate future, but I'd say, again, by summer, we're looking at Square well into the 60s.
Yeah, kind of the opposite of the Cisco formation where you hit a low and you're just kind of holding above it. Yesterday, you hit a high. It's 56.72. 56.77 was your March 22nd high, and you're not backing off that much in the pre-market. So, keep an eye on that. Just if we could take out yesterday's high, really nothing in there to the all-time high that Dennis mentioned at 58.46. So let's see. Let's hold those gains. He may test that all-time high today.
Go to the Walmart report there. Spencer, give us the details. WMT reported right around 7 o'clock hour. WMT.
Yep. You're right around there. Q1 EPS $1.14. That beat by a penny. Sales excluding currency were $120.7 billion versus $120.5 billion estimate. So again, slight beats on both the EPS and the sales number for Q1. Comps at Walmart in the U.S. up 2.1% for the quarter. Sam's Club comps up 3.8% for the quarter. Overall traffic to stores up 5.6% for the quarter.
Good enough. That's what I would say this numbers were, is good enough. Walmart, obviously, before last week was really in the doghouse, breaking down through the critical support of 85. It's back up over 85 now. So that's my bogey here now. If I'm playing it from the long side, I do not want to see it go back down below 85, because if it does, then the breakdown that you saw there could be confirmed if you start trading back below 85 again. But as of right now, that breakdown looks like it was a fake down, or whatever you want to say, a failed breakdown. And I think if you can hold 85, you're good to go. So if, it's going to be choppy on earnings, it actually was very choppy on the report. It bounced and then it sold off. And now it seems to be bouncing. It looks like they want to rally it. But if for whatever reason they sell off, 85 is the level that this needs to hold.
That would even fill. Well, that would fill the gap from yesterday. For a gap fill on the downside, you need 86.63. That looks like a real possibility here. So if you're shorting it off the opener, looking for a potential long, there's your gap fill. Nice numbers on the upside. Took a couple pokes over 88. Pre-market high 88 and a quarter. But before you had the big breakdown, went down and made that triple bottom. 88.01. That was your high on May 1st. I think a lot of shorter term players will be targeting that area. So I think the high could be in here because I think if you get rallying up near 88, I think you'll see some size there.
Target trading up 37 cents, but Target had a pretty big rally there yesterday off the Macy's numbers, so I don't know how much more gas it's got off Walmart. And Costco trading up a bit too. Again, Costco. Costco had some analyst action, though. Loop initiated with the buy here, put a big price target on it. So it was trading up a little bit last night, even ahead of this report. The one big thing is Costco's got a huge number probably coming at 200. I'd imagine there's some size up there. So, because when is the last time Costco has been up over? Has Costco ever been over 200?
199.88.
That's a huge hurdle.
Yep.
Huge hurdle. If it can get up over 200, it would be in full breakout mode. Needs to get up over 200 to really get on board on the Costco train. I think it's going to test it today. I wouldn't be surprised if we even go up there and kiss it because, as long as Walmart stays positive and the positive commentary from Loop. Full disclosure, I do have a small trading position long in Costco, but I'm watching 200. Might sell ahead of it if it doesn't look like it can take it out.
Let's catch up with the chat here. And I did see someone asking about GE here. I can't find it. Boy. Go ahead, Dennis.
I was just going to say kicking myself here because I had this on my list from yesterday morning to talk about on the show because it looked like it was ready to break out. You just had, so many highs. I was like, if this thing could ever get up over 15, it would be in breakout mode. You have that now.
And you even had a little better setup ahead of that, Dennis, because you had a quad top at 1480.
Yeah.
And you took that out. You hit 1510. A little momentum here. Needs the whole 1503. That's your closing price. You poked your head at above 15 the last time. I remember this. This was on earnings. You had a 1505 high, so important for this to open up and stay in the 15 handle. If you want to target above that, 1533 was your March 12th high.
It's showing life here, but technically speaking, this has shown life before. And what happens is they say something fundamental and the stock gets whacked. And I've played it a few times technically, and I will tell you again, technicals take a backseat always to news and always to fundamentals. And if they come out and warn or do anything like that, the thing will go right back down to the lows. So that's the one thing you got to watch is it seems like this thing is just prone to bad news. Now, if there's no news stays away from G for a while. I think there's room to 16 on this. So I give it a tight leash here. I don't know if I even like holding it overnight because of the risk that they could come out and say something bad. But in any regard here, I wouldn't be surprised if you even get some analyst commentary that could possibly kickstart it because we haven't had any analyst commentary on GE in a long time. We know analysts like to chase prices. A lot of people who are dogging GE, if it starts to show some more life, they might play catch up a little bit there. So keep that in mind. If you can stay away from fundamental news on GE, I think there's life here. And Spencer, you're almost back to even here.
Almost doesn't count.
I just want to make one quick comment here. After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd say after 13 straight monthly red candles. Remember we were talking about this one? I said when you get a green candle for a month, I'm hopping in. And 1348 was your close in March. April closed at 1407. It was green. I picked up a very, very little amount in one of my long-term portfolio. Very little, though, because I thought I was going to come back down to 13 again. But moved up a buck, so going for its second monthly green candle in a row. And it has not had that since late 2016.
Jump over here to the other earnings stock from last night, or from this morning, actually, JCPenney. It is getting hit. This is just a bad report again. I mean, JCPenney, I honestly think... lose? Well, that's just dead, and they're going to keep losing. I know Sears is selling some stuff, and but you got to think like this thing has been hanging on for a long time. I do eventually think JCPenney is maybe going to go out of business, but it's been a long and slow death here. Anyways, this is not a great report either. Spencer, details.
not a great report is putting it lightly. The Q1 EPS 22-cent loss. They're supposed to lose 19 cents, so they missed it by 3 cents. Sales 2.58 billion versus 2.62 billion. But the kicker is that, again, they do this every year or every quarter, they cut their fiscal year guidance. So they cut the EPS guidance. Oh man, did they cut it? It was a fiscal year EPS guidance originally of 5 cents to 25 cents. Now it's a 7-cent loss to a 13-cent gain. And then comps were unchanged for the quarter at 2%. So
yeah. And you look at this and you think Macy's blowing it away, and Macy's is pretty much a direct comparable. I mean, it's a little higher end maybe than JCPenney, but these are major clothing department stores. And, Macy's blowing it away, coming back, and JCPenney absolutely not doing well this quarter. And this was a quarter that a lot of other retailers did do well. So they can't perform in this quarter. When are they going to perform? Stock down 12%, deserved. I mean, could you get short squeezes in here? Could you get, yes, you could. But right now we're flirting with the lows of the move at 270. Back in October, we got down to $2.37. I just think, this thing continues to leak. It gets the odd short squeeze, gets the other hope of life. But when the dust settles, it always seems to be going lower. This $2.73 is basically a long-term call option now, and I'm not taking that long-term call option at JCPenney.
Not at all. And, the buzz, like with Macy's and, when they were talking about the potential value and turnaround, they talked about the real estate, and yeah. I don't know. I haven't really heard that with JCPenney.
No, maybe they don't own the real estate. I'm not even sure, but yeah, those stores, when you go on them, they're fine. You get deals. I mean, if you want deals, you can get pretty good deals at JCPenney, but whenever I've been in one, they don't seem that busy.
Real quick, in the chat here, Trader 33. I don't know if you're new to chat or not, Trader 33. He's asking about Shake Shack, Dennis, and this is holding
Still trying
on.
To go. It is.
Yeah. What happened that day? You were short.
Yeah, I short and I covered. You know why? Because it wasn't responding well. And you've got to look at, and say, here we got Kramer dog in the stock. Basically came out with a sell. That was a catalyst to knock us down $1. Buyers started emerging again. And I actually ended up covering, I think it was short from like 58.25. And I ended up covering around 57.60, which, I still made money on the trade, which was good, but it was down to 57. It started climbing. I was like, this is not responding well. I wanted to see, I said that day, I thought it could go down to 56, $55. It did not do that. And when you're wrong with your thesis, you've got to get out. And that's why Shake Shack Kramer couldn't knock it down. And he was very bearish on that call on Mad Money. And when they ignore that, it's telling me he wants to go higher. So technically speaking, from a valuation perspective, I'm going to say again, this makes 0 sense to me. I think the burgers are expensive. I don't think it works, from a huge growth perspective, because I don't think it can work in any rural areas. But it doesn't matter. It's hot right now. And you can't just be fading. It's all about timing in the markets here. I think this thing's going to make all-time highs here too. So here I am. I don't like the company. I don't like the stock as an investment. But as a trade right now, it's telling me it wants to go higher. So I think this thing can break out. And if it breaks out through 60, it'll be off to the races here again. So you got people still playing the short side of this. I tried the short side. It didn't work that day. So I think Shake Shack here, you got a lot of highs here, 59.5. So let's see what it does there. I don't know if I'm coming here buying as a trade right here. But gets through 60. There's a trade there.
Dennis, it didn't work out. You made like 80 cents on it. So.
Well, I was up more though, and I really thought it was in a good one. I really thought that I'm like, this is, Kramer's dog. This, retail loves to listen to Kramer. It's a retail-driven market right now. I mean, there's a lot of retail traders that can really push price around. Don't kid yourself. People say, oh, retail doesn't move it. Right now, they are. Certain times retail can drive price. And I really thought that they might come in and hit the X's because Kramer featured that. And it was getting hit pretty hard that night and got hit hard the next morning. But not, the case. It's coming right back again. So either there's too many people short and they're squeezing them, or, there's just too many people who still believe in the story. I'm not believers, but I think stock's going higher right now.
All right. You did trade in the lower 57s on that day. I remember that. And then the day of, you traded 57.01. You had a 57.02 on May 8th. So that's your big level. If someone here bought naked puts, I'll tell you, longer it takes to take out that 57, the better chance it has of going higher. Big move up after earnings. They tried to knock it down. Consolidation station here. So I think whatever way you go, 57, breaking below 57, or 59.50 recent high of the move. They're your parameters, and that will determine the next move in Shake Shack.
Just when Kramer can't knock it down, that was an eye opener to me.
Yep.
And I was like, I think this thing's going through 60. So, even though I was bearish 2 days ago on the show, I'm turning my call around here. It's up about 50 cents from where I was talking about, being bearish, and I'm actually getting bullish just for a trade. Long-term investment, no thank you. But as a trade, I would think my stop out, Joel, it's a great number you gave. If I'm going long here, I'm stopping out below that 57. So it starts going 56, I'm out. But if you're buying it here at 58.5 this morning, or it's trading down a little bit, 58.22, give yourself that buck and a half through the 57, and trying to see it from the upside.
Dennis, let's make a lunch bet. You won't buy this on the long side for a day trade today.
No, I'm too scared. Actually, it goes through 60. I might. I day trade everything. So
yeah,
in and out. But you got to be quick, on those day trades and stuff, and even swing trades. You got to be quick to flip your opinion. Here I was a day ago on the show being bearish this, and I've already split my opinion to bullish. And stock hasn't really moved much, but I just don't like the trading action and the response to significant opinion from a significant commentator in Jim Kramer. And if it starts going up on that, it's telling me it wants to go higher.
All right, let's one more stock for Ed Parker here before we get our imbalances. And this is one I've never heard of. HUYA. Dennis, I bet you never traded that one either.
Well, I've been out for 4 days.
Oh, okay.
I think it's only 4 days of trading. So actually, Spinner mentioned this one in the chat there too. Spinner was saying this was a game maker maybe over in China. I have no idea. I don't follow. It's the first time I mentioned this. Thanks, Spinner, for bringing this up. He mentioned it earlier in the chat. I'm gonna look this up right now. What does this do, Spencer?
First of all, it's an ADR. I'm on mute now. It's an ADR, and they provide online and interactive esports stuff in China.
Yeah, that's hot.
Yeah, Dennis is all over that.
Anything with esports, man, I'm interested. So on pullbacks here, I don't know anything about the fundamentals of the company, but I just know if you are in esports and you come public, you're coming at the right time. And HUYA, not surprising, straight up for 4 days because people are hungry for anything to do with esports and gaming.
All right. Well, it's taken out the all-time high. The all-time high was made yesterday at 22.75, trading 22.90 in the pre-market. I would just use the 22.50 level. That was your all-time closing high from yesterday. Good to go above 22.50. Absolutely no resistance. A lot of times what you see off the IPOs is you'll see, a big dart, and then things kind of settle down and see if there's some profit takers in it. So you've gone straight up here, 7.5 points. So I don't know when a high or temporary high in here, but not chasing it here. Expect to see some kind of retracement here, maybe a 50% retracement, and be a little more interested in the long side. Only 4 days of data.
I might have to get my kid involved in video games here because you see what that Ninja guy is making, the Fortnite player there, Ninja. Do you see what he makes a month? Take a guess what the kid playing the video game Ninja is making a month. I don't know. I think he's like 24 years old. Take a guess at what he made last month. Just from streaming.
I don't know. $250,000.
This is from streaming. So he has 5 million subscribers on Twitch or something. These Prime subscribers, and they're paying him something like each one's paying him something like $5 a month. Anyways, last month he made $500,000 streaming his video games. Just people paying him $500,000 to watch him play video games. This kid's a genius. I mean, I played video games all growing up from when I was like 6 years old till 16. Nobody paid me to watch me play video games. This kid's an absolute genius, man. Now he's, I saw him, he met Mark Cuban. He looks like he's going to make a deal over there, talking about, Drake. This guy's a machine. Ninjas.
Well, he's also the best in the world, or one of the best in the world. So
but still playing a video game and you're making that kind of money. That's incredible. Anyways, there's an article here. Here, I'll post it in the chat there. I just Googled it in the background. I was saying how he made $500,000 last month just from streaming, just from people watching him play video games. And now he's probably going to get, I bet you, he's going to get some, he's obviously getting a lot of PR here right now. So he might get some, advertising contracts. He's going to get a lot of other contracts coming at him too. This kid's getting rich in a hurry. Playing video games. Get good at video games. Put your kid in video games.
Yeah, because then they could be on the esports high school football team.
There you go, Joel. It's all about esports here now. Now you're thinking.
All right, 8:34. We don't have a guest today, so we're gonna keep rolling through the show. Do you want to give us some imbalances, Dennis?
Yeah, let's go take a look here, see if I see anything jumping out to me. Alibaba. Okay, so Chinese stocks are a little bit weak here this morning. Market's a little bit weak overall. The catalyst, though, really, I think in China, you got NetEase, NTES, getting killed here today. It's down 8%, down 21 points. And NTES reported earnings around 7 o'clock last night. They weren't good. I'm going to throw you under the bus here, Spencer. You got the NTES numbers. It's always tricky when you look at these Chinese numbers because they're on yuan or whatever, and you're trying to interpret and figure it out. But, give us the numbers, what you have there on NTES.
I don't have any. You
don't have it. So anyways, they obviously, okay, well, who cares what the numbers? They obviously missed because the stock is trading down 21 points. So NTES is trading down 246. Ooh. That is hitting, I think that's a catalyst to hit down some of your other Chinese stocks here too, because it's one of the bigger companies over there. I know Baidu's in the red, Baba's in the red. You can look at stocks like Weibo, WB, it's in the red as well. So you're seeing a lot of Chinese stocks trading red here this morning. And NTES might be the catalyst. Maybe you can give us some numbers on this NTES, Joel. It's a stock I don't follow closely there, but it's definitely taking on the chin this morning.
Oh, wow. Well, you had a pre-market low of 240.22. So they got a little bit excited there. You've bounced off that level. I'm going to keep an eye on 243.99 or 244. That's $1.50 away. And that was, like I said, a low that you had in May. If you hold that, you got a little chance of a rebound. Boy, let's see on the monthlies here. 240, that seems to be the level. If in fact, I don't know, got to see some buyers in here eventually. Down $21, but keep an eye on that. And just the Bobster, did you see where that peaked out at? Exactly to the nose, to the penny, 3 days ago.
Where'd it go?
200.
Right on the nose. These big hole numbers work. It sounds so simple. We should write a book on just big hole numbers. People will be like, man, this is the simplest strategy I've ever seen. That can't possibly work. I would tell you one thing in my now 19 years, Joel. I've been prop trader for 19 years. 2018, I started in 1999. But in my 19-year prop trading career, I have learned one thing, that the simplest strategies are often the best. That sounds, ridiculous, but it's true. Just looking at simple stuff. And that's why we talk about a lot of simple things on the show. Buying a stock 2 or 3 days before it reports, selling it right before it reports. There's positive alpha in there. It's just a statistical fact, that you see a lot of stocks run up ahead of their report. That could be people who are short, don't want to hold it through the report. People who might be wanting to just buy it and buying it ahead of the report. For whatever reason, they're just bullish going into reports. And it doesn't work all the time, but it works a lot of the time. Things that work a lot of the time can make you money as a trader. This big hole numbers I've talked about for a long time. Big size institutions throw big orders of big hole numbers. They go, sell me $1 million at 200, sell me another $1 million at 210. Well, that million shares at 200, or, I'm not saying it's there, but I'm saying, it's potentially there. They don't often show their hand, but there could be like some type of VWAP order there, which, or there could be, an iceberg there. It could be a lot of different reasons, but institutions are just simple like that. They say, throw out the big numbers. It's like Nike yesterday. We talked about Nike, $70 has to get through 70 because there was 250,000 shares to go. So it takes a big buyer to push it through there. What happens? It takes it out, never looks back. I mean, it's a complete breakout. If you bought it through 70, took zero heat, 71 literally an hour later. Now it's 71 and a half. And I just looked at the Nike book. It's pretty open. 75 is your next bogey. There's another $250,000 for sale at 75. So you probably got the same institutions just long a whole pile and says, sell me a $250,000 at 70, sell me another $250,000 at 75. So the next big bogey, believe it or not, for Nike is 75. Now we're $3.50 away from there. I don't know if it's going to go straight there. You have obviously market impacts, but when you get that size taken out, people, scramble and try to cover. Maybe some people leaning on that size or trying to get out. Maybe it went really fast, but there's strategies around these whole numbers. If Baba can break out through 200, the thing will probably run to 210. So, that's what you got to look at is, those big hole numbers, they really come into play.
And Nike, that nice setup yesterday, buying the open, a 17-cent up open. You took a nickel worth of heat. Went through $70, 71.51. That was your high, your recent high from yesterday. 71.34 on the close. So with the SPOOs in the red and kind of weakening here, Dennis. We'll talk about the balances in a second. 69 or 71.34. Make sure you hold that. Couple bucks of air down to yesterday's low at 69.62.
Jump over here to other imbalances. So Bob, 118,000 to sell. Twitter, 71,000 to sell. There's a few sell imbalances here today. Not surprising. We're weak on the overall market. Pfizer, PFE, 111,000 to sell. That's significant as well. Square, 60,000 to sell. I'm just looking across the board. Walmart, 51,000 to buy. We know that's because of the earnings. It's trading up a little bit. GE, which we talked about earlier, 107,000 to buy. So still the buyer there kicking around in GE. It's had a buy and balance for I feel like a couple of weeks now. It's had significant buy and balances there. But majority of stocks are to the south side. Not surprising because we're trading down 60 cents on the SPY.
All right, S&P is just hanging above the low of the session. Your session low is 1550. Currently trading at 2716.75. AIG gets an upgrade. Who's that upgrade from in AIG?
UBS? Is it UBS?
Yep. To buy. The upgrade is neutral to buy.
Stock is trading up in the pre-market here. It's up about 1.28%. You know what? It's strong yesterday. I got to go look at the book. I always remember this number on AIG, and it's been a while I've been there, but I can remember 55 always being significant, even back in the day. I don't know why. AIG is kind of, if you look at it, it's just been around these prices for, I guess it was up at 64. But if I go to the monthlies, I feel like we've seen 55. Yeah, go like the last 4 years. We've been around 55, a couple dozen times. Up through it, down through it, up through it, down through it. I always think of 55. Okay, and it does stand out a little bit. Only 23,000 shares there in the book. All I do is subscribe. $60 a month. Subscribe to the NYSE book. Let's see what kind of size is in there. And when you're looking in the pre-market, it kind of gives you a better indicator. When you look intraday, there's just size everywhere because there's so many envelope traders, and what they're just doing is market making out there. And those orders are floating; they're not solid, so you can't really look at those. But when you look at pre-market, you kind of get a glimpse of where the real orders are. And 55 has 23,000 shares. That's somewhat of a significant order. But anyways, it gets anywhere up near 55. I think you got sellers. So you get up a little higher than this, I might try from the short side.
And made that washout low on earnings day at 49.57, rallying back up here. I just alert our traders that we had a gap down, and that gap was from 52.01 to 54.59. That's where we're currently trading. So I see that all the way up to the close on that day at 54.84. Which coincides with round number 55. So I think it's resistance here, not chasing this up 69 cents at 54.40.
Also, ratings land. We've got Coca-Cola catching an upgrade at Barclays. This is definitely a contrarian call because Coca's been going straight down.
Whoa.
So need a little bit of life. Look at this contrarian analyst out here. Usually I'll chase price, not this case. They are putting an upgrade on Coke. I'll tell you though, unfortunately, Barclays Coke is just in such a wicked downtrend. We got to, I don't know if their interest rates are continuing to go up here, but still stuff like this seems out of favor. I think, we look at this, and sorry to Pete Nigerian too, who promoted it about a month ago there on CNBC. Pete's a great guy, but I think, this Coke stock, I think I'm a fader of every rally in Coke. I think this thing's eventually going to breach $40.
Yeah, you just got to keep an eye on $42. Pair of highs there already at 41.92, 41.94. So probably some more size sticking around at 42 there. So if in fact you clear 42, I think you got a little bit more upside. But just being the dog that it's been the last few days, I could see some size at the whole number. A close over 42 today would make me a little bit more bullish, thinking that maybe you did put in a double bottom there at 41.50. Low of the move was made on Tuesday at 41.45 if it happens to go into reverse.
Dogs are barking on Coke. Is there any other ratings, Spencer, you want to highlight? I see CBS downgrade Bank of America. TAP got downgraded Stifel. Valero's upgraded Morgan Stanley. Full disclosure, I got a long position on Valero. Anything else jumping out at you?
No, you got the big ones. What else did I see? You mentioned TAP. No, that's pretty much it, honestly.
Pretty much the bulk of it. Only thing, a couple sectors that I wanted to highlight here. Just looking, airlines. Airlines here really seem to be catching a bid as of late, just the last couple of days. But if you look at stocks like LUV, for instance, Southwest Air, catching a nice bid there. Kramer, you got to watch Kramer. He's bullish it now, and he can be influential. So we got a down day here. If some of these airlines open weak, and they might because oil is trading higher, maybe get a few people that are trying to get in on the cheap. And I wouldn't be surprised. I love the 2-day move. LUV had a nice move up yesterday, which was counter to where the trend is. So 2-day move would say this thing could kiss 54. So I like LUV on a pullback today. If you can get it, you maybe even get it just slightly in the red. Also, Save is another one. Spirit Air, that was a nice candle yesterday. I think there might be room to 38. And American Airlines, I think there's room up to 45. So all these are trading slightly down here with the overall market today. But if I'm looking at a stock sectors that might surprise here today, I think the airlines might show some life again.
And it's interesting how this rapid decline in these airline stocks has coincided with a big rally in the oil market, right? That's the biggest part of their expenses. So now it's trying for this love here. I mean, I'd say let's go 53.50 because I see a bunch of highs in this area.
I'll look at
it
the
holds,
too.
Yeah, holds 53.50. You may get a shot at 54. I don't know, no great numbers here.
Yeah.
53, 54. I'd see if there's some size in the book. AAL.
Not much in there.
No, I wouldn't think so. This is pretty low. American Airlines, that's trading in the red here. That needs to get back over 44. Wow, that hit a high of 44.91 yesterday and pulled back. So if this gets above the close and holds the close, I think it has a little bit of room on the upside. And then what else did you Save? That's the other one that you mentioned.
Spirit Air. These are not long-term investments; they're short-term trades. But I'm saying they're showing life. There's almost a little cup and handle forming in Save there. I think there's room up to 38, 39 bucks on this one. I like them. I like them. And if they open the red today, these are more short-term day trades. More than looking here. I think there could be some life here. You got stocks trading down. I'm looking, at something that might, open down and possibly find some life. So I like these, just as short-term trades, right today and the next couple of days. Airlines.
All right.
Joel doesn't agree. He's just silent. Crickets on that.
No, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's an out of favor sector.
Oh, out of favor. So I'm total contrarian call here. Applied Materials is going to report tonight. AMAT, I do have a long position in there because you know how I like to buy them ahead of the reports. Obviously not helping me as the text today, but I'm hedged with the Qs, so I'm actually okay because I do all my hedging and QQQ is down 0.49%, Applied Materials down 0.49%, so I'm actually flat on the overall position. But Applied Materials pulling back a little bit here with the market. Reports tonight. Thoughts here as we go into the AMAT report.
Let's see here. Nice. I mean, how many times have you seen this situation? Rallying into a report, and then no matter what the report is, it takes a decline. So I think you see that high.
But did we rally into it? We rallied a week and a half ago, but really in the last couple of days, we're not that strong into the report, are we?
Well, I mean, yeah, last couple of days.
Straight up into the report.
Well, 47. Okay. All right. Going back almost to the end of April was 47.74. So, to me, not right into the report, maybe a little different scenario, but I keep an eye on that closing price at 55.17. Yesterday's high 55.46. And I don't know, a couple highs in the upper 55 handle coming back on the downside. Do not like this thing if, in fact, it takes out your 2-day low at 53.46. So this one's kind of in no man's land.
Jump over to a few other stocks that are on my list to talk about here.
We had one from the chat. From very early on in the show. Someone asked about Disney.
House of Mouse showing life again. This got kickstarted a couple people on Fast Money. I forget who. I think it was Pete and Jarian came out bullish on Disney, and then the double yesterday because Jim Cramer on the next show came out bullish on Disney too. So you had both Pete Najarian and Jim Cramer off CNBC both getting bullish on the House of Mouse, and it had a good day yesterday in response to that. I would say that was your catalyst yesterday. Was both those guys bullish the stock? It was trading up after hours on that. It opened basically at the lows and ran straight up. I am long Disney in my investment portfolio. I thought it was nice consolidation between 98 and 100. I bought it, I think, right just over $100. So I'm up about 4. Well, it's down a little bit in the pre-market here. I'd say I'm up 4 points on it. I'm sticking with it. I like it from valuation perspective. I tell you, like I said, the parks are crazy busy. Yes, you can say, oh, they have problems with ESPN, but that's not the biggest part of their business too. I mean, there's this just long term. When you stick in Disney in your portfolio, some people argue it shouldn't trade at a premium over Viacom and over CBS and all the other media companies, and I would say it does because they have the whole parks business that those other companies don't have. Plus, that Avengers movie they put out. I mean, they just figure stuff out. I'm a big fan, and that's why it's now in my investment portfolio, Disney.
106 is huge in this. You've been in a trading range for quite some time. The top of that trading range, well, you haven't been up near 106 in a long time. 2 highs just under 106. This was back in mid-March. So, Dennis, keep an eye on that. It break out above 106. You guys are room to the upside. If not, you're just kind of coming up. It's just been kind of range bound, and 105, 106 has been the top of that range.
Interesting in the book. 104, 40,000 to buy. 105, 19,000 to sell. 106, 31,000 to sell. So there's some action at the whole numbers on this. So that can sometimes, put you, within a range. So you got some buyers down there. I think it pulls back to 104. Probably finds the buyers ahead of that 104 area. So keep that in mind. The pullback in Disney. If it get down lower 104s, I think you find buyers.
All right. Well, I gave you resistance. It really didn't give you support in this one. Trading down 29 cents. Yesterday's low, way down at 103.15. So unless you have a real route in the market, and Dennis, just kind of going to your hold number theory, listen to the last 3 lows. I mean, not exactly the penny. Yesterday's low, 103.15. 2-day low, 102.10. And your 3-day low, 101.98. So there's 2 days where you had someone flanking, an institute. Like, you got to also think when these institutions want to buy 102, they're buying it $500,000, a million times. They just can't stick an order out to do it. They got to.
They're buying it with 100, 200, 100, 200.
Is that crazy? Man.
They have to do that, though, because if they throw out a big order, which sometimes they do, you have people who step ahead of it. I'll step ahead of it. Opportunistic traders will follow and step ahead of the size. When I started trading, remember, Joel, back in when we were trading the 90s, every institution showing their hand. We're all just trading in between the institutional orders. So, you got $1 million to buy here at the point. We're all buying ahead of it. I like a penny above it or a nickel above it or back in teeny land a teeny above it and leaning on that for protection. It takes that out. We hit it. So, that was how we were trading back then. It's still algo's doing that. They just have to sniff them out.
We buy ahead of it, and then we let them take it up. Oh, they're going to pay a half, and then we would let them buy it up, and then they get the 100,000 done at a half. We'd sock it to them, and then the stock would, be able to go back.
And that's all just reading order flow in the tape. And that's how it was back then. So difficult to do now because everybody's hiding their intentions. So, good for them because, we made a lot of money trading off institutional orders when everybody just showed their hand. Now 99% of them don't. But the odd ones that do, you still got to take advantage of that. And, that's just making the market more efficient too. Like people will say, oh, these order sniffing algos here, these are dirty players. You have a lot of institutional traders that hate that. But I mean, at a certain point in time, you can argue too that that order would sit there for a long time. And sometimes, it needs to have, some traders around to get the order done. So traders, the liquidity that, obviously that provides sometimes to the institutions. Institutions provide great liquidity as well. But sometimes it takes some traders to actually get those orders done.
Let's offer B.D. Trudell, who slept in a little bit this morning, talked about Cisco.
Go back, talk Cisco.
Yeah. And it, I told
Still
you.
Leaking.
Yeah, it is. It's not dissing itself from that pre-market low. Now it was a spike low, and it went down to 43.04. But I think they're going to shake those 43 buyers. What do you got in here? I saw a 40 in the 43 handle, 43.44. But I let it slip, folks, and I think I saw a 42.75 low in here, April 25th. So 42.75, 43. I think you might get a little bit more on the downside, but they can really whoop up on this thing because it started the year under $35. It closed. I stand corrected. It made a nice move in December. 30. It was back at the end of the year. It was 38.30. You hit 46.16. I mean, retracement Hanover in this one. If you figure a 50% retracement from 30 up to 46. I mean, you could get this thing. I bet you get this thing under $40 by the end of summer, right, Dennis? You're going with the end of summer in some of your predictions?
On Cisco?
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting under 4. I think Cisco will be back at the highs too. I think there's just there's you got a little dividend in there, so you got the value guys like me who is still scooping up Cisco. It gets near 40, I'll buy it down the lower 40s. So
Hey, Dennis,
in my investment portfolio.
I want to take you on here.
You want to do a bet on this one?
Okay, no. On the market. On the market. I don't know if we're going to make this a steak dinner one or not. But you say we're making new all-time highs by what, June 1st?
No, I was already saying mid-July.
July 1st.
Take me out.
July 15th. July 15th.
286.62. New all-time highs. Yeah, but this is a tough bet because it's like it's like I'm buying a call option here.
Okay.
And it's like so you have the edge totally here because the stock, at the edge, stock up or down, right? So SPY go up or down 272. I think, but you got to give me odds on that, or you've got to take the other side and say, like I'll say 258, and we don't put a time limit on it because right now I'm just like buying a call option. I hate buying options. So I would say, what's the all-time high on SPY? Like 286?
Yeah, 286.63.
So 286.63, which is about 15 points up from here. So take 15 points off, which would bring us down to like 256. I'll say 286 before 256. Is that right? The math? 287. I'll even give you an edge.
Let me think about this. I want to see what happens. I just thought I could get you to, sleep it on that and just say, okay.
I'm not just writing you a call option, or you're not writing me a call. I don't want to. You got to give me something.
I'm not. That 3-1 was too close, man. I got to set it up, but at least you owe me one.
Remember that 3-1 on Nvidia? I made that bet. You got within 20 cents. I would have 3 lunches on you, and it got within 20 cents. I was so close to getting the 3 lunches on. Anyways, we digress once again. We got 4 minutes here left. We've got something in the chat. Let us know. Jazz wants to know about Deere. DE. It does report earnings tomorrow morning. Yes, I believe Deere often does run ahead of the report. It had a nice candle yesterday. And, not that great of a tape, but Deere was strong, stronger than the overall market, I will say. Closed fairly strong as well. I think Deere could be one that turns around and runs again here today ahead of the report. 150 is going to be big, though, after the report. I want to just go look at the book. You know how I love my big whole numbers. I like to look and see if there's anything in the book. 7,800, not that much at 150, actually. So not that much in size, but I'll say after the report, Deere 150 is big, but I think it could be strong ahead of the report today.
Yeah, and I think you will ahead of the 150. I see a pair of highs at 149 and 148.62. So you rally another $1.75 ahead of report. Just be cognizant of the double top there in Deere, but having a nice rally into the report. Downward Dog wants to talk about Procter and Gamble, and it's trying, but it looks yeah. Your comments, Dennis?
I don't know. I'm on the board. I wanted to get this down to 68. And I wanted to put it in my investment portfolio because that's where I bought it originally. I took it from 68 to 90. I kind of want to get the 68 back. That's where I originally bought it. It didn't quite get there, so I'm kind of kicking myself a bit. But that being said, it doesn't look that bad here. I will say if you are going long and trying it here, 72.60 would be my bogey. That's the 4-day low. Takes that out, then you're in trouble. Problem is these stocks are still just out of favor. It's an ugly downtrend. We've come back. Even Kraft Heinz fits this bill. The KHC is starting to make me nervous here now, Joel. I know it's ex-dividend here today, so it's actually trading up here a little bit, but we can't seem to get above 60. Big psychological level, big whole number. If you subscribe to this theory on KHC, that old support becomes new resistance. That is exactly what we're seeing. I'm down $1. If we were able to sell this in the 59s, we'd be down $1 in it. I almost feel like selling it and just trying to get it back cheaper because I think it could continue its downtrend. I still like, long-term prospects here. And if you're looking at it and not trying to look at it as a trade, I was still sticking as investment, but I'm almost looking at it as like, I think I can get it cheaper here now. I have more information here now. I can cut my losses for $1 and it doesn't look like it wants to go through 6.
Yeah, this is a long-term investment. And
it's still about timing. You can trade your long-term investments to a certain extent. I think we thought the 60 was going to hold. It didn't. Now it's back here, and look at the resistance form. When you look at this technically, Does this not look like a setup to sell the shit out of it? Oh, ooh, did I just say that loud? Did I just swear on the show live?
Oh my god. Yeah, that hasn't happened in a while.
Where are you on that buzzer button? You're supposed
Chris,
to
where were you
it's
on
a
that
5-second delay.
That
Bleep
hasn't
out.
happened. That hasn't happened in a while.
That is, you said the only 2 cuss words that we've ever done the
You
show.
said a cuss word before.
No, I never did. You said I don't want to say what you said, but that's your second one.
Sell
And
the
I
poop
think
out of it. I meant to say sell the poop out of it.
we had one guy. We've had a couple guests slip some in, but
That's the first time I've slipped in probably 3 years. Is that really a cuss word? You can't say that one, eh?
No.
Don't you know the 7 words you can't say on TV?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
knows it. He
but
knows it.
it starts with F.
Spencer, you better wrap this puppy up here.
Yeah, we're getting in trouble. We're
Gosh.
getting fined here today.
No one's finding us. That was funny though. Thank you for that one, Dennis. But that's going to be it for us today, folks. As far as tomorrow's show, it'll be just Joel and myself back in Detroit. Dennis is going to be in Nashville, right? Why are you in Nashville?
I'm in Nashville. Actually, I will be meeting with Jeremy Newsom, actually, from Real Life Trading, who's a guest on our show a lot of times. But they're also for my brother-in-law's bachelor party. So I hope I survive that because these guys are a lot younger than me. So down there, and I have to meet up with Jeremy on Saturday. So I'm excited to meet Jeremy. He's quite the character there. So
do you know why? Do you know why Jason or not Jason? Do you know why Dennis is meeting with Jeremy?
Why is that?
No.
So you can write it off as a.
I'm not.
Yeah, you're gonna see. It's a business trip. So
it's all business. No, I'm meeting with Jeremy because I do like Jeremy. We wanted to meet with Jeremy a long time. You've been itching to go down to Nashville to meet with Jeremy.
I know.
So it's just a great opportunity for us to meet with Jeremy. Will I get off the luncheon with Jeremy? Probably.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, looking forward to meeting Jeremy Newsom. He's been on our show a few times. Great guy.
Yep, great guy. So it'll be just Joel and myself tomorrow. We're going to be joined by Tim Anderson, Managing Director of TJ Ebb Investments. He'll join us at 8:35. But that's our show for today, folks. Hope you guys have had a good morning so far and have a good rest of your day. And we will see you folks on Friday. Have a good one.